Ladies and gentlemen, for your kind approval, we offer my new composition entitled, I Found a Little Grass Skirt for My Little Grass Shack in Hawaii.
For my little grass shack in Hawaii. She's my only joy to share my fish and poi, nui loa, moi moi. And to my little grass shack I go hurrying back in the evening, where two lovely eyes I idolize complete my paradise. A little Hawaiian lad was feeling so very sad, but since she came along with the hoo-a-pala song, the sun is back again in the sky. A little grass skirt for my little grass shack in Hawaii. And it won't be long until my song will be a lullaby.
than this Hawaiian gesture of welcome and farewell, these flower lays.
It's an old Hawaiian custom, isn't it?
Well, flowers have always been important in Hawaiian life. As a matter of fact, these garlands are as much a part of their costumes as our neckties or our hats. And many of the loveliest songs in the islands are about the flowers of the different islands. Of course, the legends of the flower lays are simply endless.
Do tell me one. I like stories.
All right. I'll tell you the legend of the flower lay. It explains why to this day we throw our garlands back into the water as we pass Diamond Head. Of course, this story is about old Hawaii, when the islands were ruled by native kings, before Hawaii, as a territory, became part of our United States. Now, this garland was worn by an Hawaiian princess, many, many years ago. This princess lived on the beautiful island of Oahu. She was the favorite daughter of the chief of the island. Her name was Pualani, which means flower of heaven. She loved to wander around the coral reefs, watching the gay little fishes with painted scales, gossamer fins, and chiffon tails. Her favorite pets were the little kihi-kihi fishes, with their onyx and ivory markings and absurd faces. They were not afraid of her, and she often caught them in her hand and laughed merrily at their startled expressions. There was a youth on the island whom she loved. His name was Moku. He was not of royal blood, but that did not matter to Puolani. He was a fisherman. He used to bring her beautiful shells from the sea and string them on coconut fiber for necklaces. This particular day, he strung a beautiful necklace of white shells as a love offering. Puolani loved to tease Moku and pretend to scorn him. But Moku was not deceived. Their days were filled with carefree play. They were like happy children, unaware of the shadow of tragedy which hung over them. Moku begged Puolani to be serious for a moment, because this lei of white shells was to be a symbol of their love, and she must wear it always. The people in the village carry on the numerous activities of their old-time, primitive, happy life. Strong boys wrench the tough husks from coconuts. Old women beat the inner bark of the mulberry tree into tapa cloth for garments. Tapa is a soft, durable fabric stamped into native patterns with dyes from roots and leaves and the juices of plants. The priest behind the sacred tabu sticks invokes a blessing of the gods on the chief and his people. Mats of woven lauhala are prepared for the houses. Busy brown fingers weave the intricate pattern with deft sureness. The fishermen mend their nets. In a pool nearby, youngsters toboggan down the smooth trough of a waterfall. Hawaiians have always been more at home in the water than on the land. They consider swimming the king of sports. A wrestling match is underway, but it is interrupted by a call from the sea. The villagers see outrigger canoes approaching. The chief is notified of the approach of visitors. He dons his feather helmet to greet the strangers. Outrigger canoes bring a young prince and his warrior from a neighboring island. He is greeted with ceremony. The prince is led through the village to the chief's house. The tall feather kahilis of ceremony accompany the procession. tells Puolani's father that he has heard of the girl's beauty and seeks her for his bride. In the meantime, gifts are brought for the visiting prince. Bags of coconut, fine fish wrapped in tea leaves, ripe red fruit, bunches of bananas, red and yellow ones, woven mats, and best of all, a fine fat pig. Puolani and Moku are startled to see strangers. Puolani hears her name called. The chief tells her she is to be the bride of the prince. She protests, but her father silences her with a stern command. The prince tells Puolani of the beauties of his island where she will be queen. In the meantime, gifts are brought for the visiting prince. Bags of coconut, fine fish wrapped in tea leaves, ripe red fruit, bunches of bananas, red and yellow ones, woven mats, and best of all, a fine fat pig. Puolani and Moku are startled to see strangers. Puolani hears her name called. The chief tells her she is to be the bride of the prince. She protests, but her father silences her with a stern command. The prince tells Puolani of the beauties of his island where she will be queen. He describes the great canyons covered with lush green forest growth. The waterfalls tumbling into pools where she may swim. The towering cliffs teeming with wild game. The golden beaches stretching for miles around the island. He has prepared a house for her arrival in a coconut grove by the sea. But Puolani scarcely listens, for she is thinking of Moku. As soon as she can, she slips away to tell the tragic news to Moku. Sorrowfully, she returns the shell necklace, the symbol of their love. ceremonial dancing by the light of flaming kukui torches. The night is heavy with the scent of many flowers, frangipani, jasmine, white ginger, and pikaki. Puolani weeps in her hut. The music is a torture to her, for she hears the strain of her favorite love song. Torchlight fishermen are busy on the reef, getting food for the great feast. The fish are stupefied by the light and fall a quick prey to the spears of the fishermen. Moku and Puolani bring the blossoms of the night-blooming cereus as offering to the god, praying for happiness. The next morning, the great nets are dragged in, all of the men pulling in the hukilau ropes, which are braided with leaves. The shadows of these leaves frighten the fishes and scare them into the nets. fishes, gleaming like wet jewels. A lone fisherman throws his circular net over a school of fishes. The edges of the net are weighted to make them sink. Another fisherman throws his pronged spear. Boys scramble up the tall palms to get the green coconuts filled with cool, refreshing milk. Women wrap fishes in tea leaves, not the tea we drink, but the tough leaf of a forest plant. It gives a pleasant flavor to the food cooked in it. A man pounds the sticky poi, which is the bread of the islands. It gives the Hawaiians their brawn and strength. Puolani's mother and sister prepare her for the wedding, decorating her with fragrant flower leis. Her mother tells Puolani that she must smile and be gay, or her father will be angry. The dressed pig is prepared for the feast. The carcass is put on a bed of hot rocks and filled with red-hot stones. It is surrounded by bananas, fish, breadfruit, and 100 other delicacies. Pig is covered with leaves and sand, a perfect fireless cooker. After 3 hours, it is removed. Crisp, crunchy pork, flavored with bananas and seaweed. The entire village assembles for the feast. The priest invokes a blessing on the food and thanks the gods for the abundance. pineapple adds a cool, refreshing flavor. The white meat of mullet is tasty and appetizing. The bridegroom asks Pualani to dance. Her dance pantomimes the beauty of her home island, Oahu. Her hands delineate the swaying of flowers, the movement of waves on the beach, and the flight of birds, and the falling of rain. The swaying skirt marks the rhythms of the music with its whispering sibilance. Brings the marriage tapa. Moku cannot bear to watch the ceremony. The marriage tapa is put over the shoulders of the prince and Pualani. They rub noses in a Polynesian caress. To the strains of an ancient sacred chant, Pualani prepares to depart. Moku has woven a lei of plumeria, one of the sweetest island flowers. With a sad heart, Moku watches the canoes leave the shores of Oahu. Pualani presses the flower lei to her lips and drops it onto the water with an unspoken message for Moku. After the outrigger canoes disappear from sight, Moku waits by the beach, numb with sorrow, unable to believe that Pualani is gone from his life forever. He sees the garland floating on the waves. His heart is glad because he knows Pualani is thinking of him and hoping to return. Pualani, as the gods have sent back your gift of love, so may you come back to me someday. So to this day we follow the custom of the legend. Those of us who want to come back, and of course that includes all of us, cast our leis back into the waters off Diamond Head, hoping that just so surely as the leis drift back to the shore, we will come back just as soon as ever we can.
Did Pualani come back?
Wouldn't you come back?